Welcome back to Recruits Draftcast. I am quite pleased to be joined by Kelowna Rockets head coach Derrick Martin, who is happens to be the head coach of Montreal's third-round pick from the 2025 draft, Hayden Papanicus. I got it right. Yeah. Derrick, so glad you could join us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You're busy. When's the season opener for you?
The season kicks off tomorrow night here in Kelowna against the Spokane Chiefs. So right around the corner.
Yeah. You get back Pulatine yet, or is he still in camp?
No, we've still got a bunch of guys up at NHL camps, and still I'm happy to see that they're getting their opportunity to do their thing up there. And it's unfortunate that Hayden wasn't able to do his thing in Montreal with some sickness there. But yeah, we've still got quite a few guys out of the lineup heading into the first weekend.
Yeah, well, that's means you've got some power there coming.
Yeah.
When did he get mono, and how long do you figure he'll be out for?
Well, we actually didn't know he had mono. He got to Montreal and was going through his physical and felt that his lymph nodes were a little bit swollen. So they tested him and found out he had mono. So he's back in Kelowna now, being looked after by our team doctors and our athletic therapist. He's probably still a couple of weeks away from being back in the lineup. We have one game this weekend and then two the following weekend, and then we actually have a weekend off early on in the season. So we're going to have the opportunity to afford to make sure that he's taken care of before he hops back into action.
So he may only miss 3 games then, you figure?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. Then it can sometimes take a little longer than that, but this is your first full year as coach in the WHL.
Yeah.
And you're going to the Memorial Cup. So do you have to pinch yourself on occasion to make sure you're not dreaming, or what?
Yeah, I've been really, really fortunate to, first of all, to be a part of the community and to live where we live now and to be able to raise our family here has been a real blessing. And the Hamilton family's taken very good care of my wife and myself and our 2 kids. And, it wasn't necessarily the path that we had mapped out when we came here. But they say that you've always got to be ready for your opportunity. And I've been fortunate enough from the Hamilton family to be entrusted with this opportunity. And, they've done a great job of surrounding me with a really good coaching staff. It's not one person. There's a whole room full of us that are contributing to that. And, an ex-Hab and Josh Georges is part of the staff, and Brandon McMillan, who played in the NHL, and then Don Hay, who, needs no introduction. So we've been really lucky that I'm surrounded by a lot of experience and people that come from different backgrounds and walks of life. And, we're just excited to start the season off tomorrow. You do all this planning and talking about things. It's nice to have an opportunity to apply your trade in actual games and have a starting point for our team.
Yeah. Don Hay, you might pick his brain on occasion, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I already have, probably driving him crazy already.
Kelowna, it's funny, like I have lots of friends that are amateur scouts, and they make a point of always stopping in Kelowna when they're going out west. The Eastern scouts, even if Kelowna doesn't have anyone to scout, they'll make sure that somehow they get Kelowna on the map there, because on the schedule, because it's just I think it's one of the most beautiful places in all of Canada.
Yeah, it's a really, really nice community, and the people are really welcoming, and you've got a big, beautiful lake, and the weather is, for the most part, it's nice all year round. Coming from Alberta, it's certainly a little bit different than what we were used to. Our first winter here was the easiest one we've had so far, but there's also I think a lot of excitement around our hockey team, and Bruce has talked in the media about how tough the decision to lose the 2020 Memorial Cup was and the impact it had on our team. But moving forward, I think our scouting staff has done a really good job of building the cupboards up. So I think, we're going to reward those scouts for the next several years and coming here. I think there's going to be a lot of players on their radar that are going to be worth coming to and make the trip not just a holiday for them.
Yeah, that that said, the club has an enormous task trying to build a very competitive team that's worthy of hosting the Memorial Cup. Considering that you finished last in the Western Conference last year with 18 wins and 44 losses, you had the top pick in the import draft and got Thomas Politin. That's a nice add. You made deals for Carson Wetch, Mazden Leslie, others. Are you comfortable with where the team's at right now?
Well, like I previously said, I think we got to start somewhere, Grant. And, we've got at the end of last year, we were dressing 16-year-olds and didn't have a 20-year-old in our lineup. We made the decision at the deadline to move pieces out to plan for this season in particular. And I think that, Bruce and Curtis have done a really good job of restocking the cupboards here. I anticipate there'll probably be some subtle changes as the season progresses, but we're really happy with where our dressing room is right now. We had some really good players in our lineup last year that were younger guys, and they're all coming in. They got a lot of opportunity at the end of last season, and now we're hoping that that tree bears some fruit for us because they're not 16-year-olds anymore. They've got a lot of experience. They played 50-plus games, all of them, and we're hoping that helps them have a lot of success at the start of the year. With our guys being at NHL camps, they're going to get a real opportunity early on, and we can give them the opportunity, and then we'll see who runs with it.
Your top pick in the 2024 WHL draft was a 6'7" defenseman, Owen Hayden. He missed, I think, the second half or a lot of last year. Is he in the lineup to start the season this year, or where is he playing?
So Owen Hayden suffered a bit of an injury with the U17s when he was at Canada U17 camp. So he's rehabbing that. He's here in Kelowna with us. We have every anticipation that he's going to get an opportunity to be here, and then it'll be up to him to make good on that. But he's just on the final stint of rehabilitation, so we're excited to get him. He's on the ice skating with our staff again, and looking forward to getting an opportunity to see him live and in some action.
Okay. Iginla, obviously that's going to be a do you think that being the Memorial Cup host heightens your chances of getting Iginla back, or do you know if you're getting them back? Or I guess obviously you don't know yet, right?
No, we don't know, and honestly, selfishly, we hope that we get him back. At the end of the day, we're here to try and develop players to get to the next level, and if he's able to stay there, I think good on him. We'll be real happy for him. But at the same time, if we get him back, we know he's going to be a monumental piece in what we're trying to accomplish this season. So we're going to afford him the opportunity to do his thing at that level, and if he's able to stick, no one will be happier than the people here in Kelowna.
Who would you say on your team to keep a close eye on for the 2026 NHL draft?
I think Calder Varga comes in. He had a pretty good Halinka tournament, and he's an American-born. He's got a lot of potential on the offensive side. He's gotten a lot bigger and stronger. He's a player that, I think we have high expectations of playing high up in our roster this year. And with that, at the same time, we want to make sure we're protecting him on nights when we need to as well. So he's a player that has garnered a lot of interest early on, and probably as the season progresses, we'll get more and more.
Yeah. Hayden was a key piece in the Andrew Crystal trade, obviously. You coached him last year. What your thoughts on him being selected in the third round by Montreal?
I'm happy for him. First of all, he's he's a tremendous human being, and you like seeing good things happen to good people. On top of that, in my conversations with NHL teams and with Montreal in particular, was he was a player that I think has shown some really strong signs of offensive ability. But, before he came here, he was a guy who showed a real knack for being a checking role. I think when you project him at the next level, he's a player that's going to play in that more of that role with an opportunity to pitch in with some offense. And this year, I think it's really important for him to get back to that identity. Last year, we needed him to score, and we were young and gave him that opportunity, and he took advantage of it. And this year, we're going to need him to, contribute offensively, but we want him to be a really hard player to play against, and somebody who is going to go up against the other team's top players every single night. And I know he's up to the challenge. He's a really growth-minded young man, and somebody that we're really excited to get healthy and get back into our lineup.
Yeah. You're going to have more firepower with, if Iginla comes back, and Pulitine should produce, and Wetch is a great WHLer. He'll have more weapons. Presumably he'll play with at least one of those guys, and maybe have more weapons to I would imagine that you want to see a jump in his production this year.
We do, and I think that part of that happens organically just from getting a year older, a year bigger, a year stronger. At the same time, we want him to be really hard to play against. We want teams to struggle to create against him. We want him to have the puck. We want our team to have the puck, as every coach would say. But it's really important for him to be committed to that 200-foot game, and he's a player that has an elite stick. He can turn pucks over better than most for his age group. He uses his size that way, and I'd like to see him get back to that physical brand of hockey where, he can force his will out on the ice a little bit more.
Fair to say that a little more consistency would be a key for him, I think, right?
Yeah, I think, now coming into a third season in the league, you're wanting to see that from guys, and
Sure.
That shows their growth and maturity. And I don't expect anything less from him. He's not a hard player to coach. He wants feedback. He wants to get better, and because of that, he typically, shows up and does. So we think this year being his third year in the league, there's a lot of reason for optimism around that.
Good. You don't have Mono now too, do you?
No.
That's good. Listen, I have the Canadiens did a behind the draft kind of documentary, and I'm going to play it. They happened to interview Hayden, and I'm going to play it for you here and get your thoughts on it. Okay?
Yeah.
Can you describe the type of player?
Yeah, I'm a two-way power forward. I protect pucks well. I have a great shot. I kind of see myself as like a polar bear or a grizzly bear. Probably choose the polar bear. I say, those animals are vicious, and that's how I like to say I describe my game. I think I'm a really good skater for being 6'4".
So from 1 to 5, 5 is being elite skater. Like where do you fit there?
Like a 3.9. I know I have a lot of work. I've been trying to work on my agility for a long time, but I think just being 6'4" and being able to skate pretty well at top end speeds, I think that's huge for me.
So this past season you played 39 games in Spokane, right?
Yeah.
And you amassed 29 penalty minutes. And then you played 32 games in Kelowna and had 28 penalty minutes.
Yeah.
And you're vicious. Like you hit people with handbag. I'm struggling to understand this. You said you're mean and you're vicious, and I'm going, holy moly.
Yeah, I think you don't need to get penalties to be vicious. I think, playing an aggressive game and physical game is kind of the same thing as being vicious, but you don't need to two-hand guys in the face to be vicious either.
So you're a fairly disciplined...
Yeah.
Is this your self-center moving forward, or would you be open to the wing, or?
Yeah, I mean it's whatever the coach wants me to play. I'm willing to play anything. I think I'm able to do anything. So
puck battles. We have 10 puck battles. You against. How many are you winning? How many is he winning?
I think I'm winning probably 10 out of 10 to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, even when I play against them, I'm winning those battles. So 5 of them all.
Okay. Good stuff.
Thank you guys. Good luck. Thank you.
You made a good start because I went after you hard and you defended yourself well. There was no messing around. You knew exactly
Yeah,
what you were
thank
doing.
you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you guys.
That's kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
I like his answer 3.9. Pretty specific there on his skating. Would you agree that he has, for his size, he's got a lot of potential as far as his skating goes, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's, when you're talking about potential, I don't think he's anywhere near the peak of the player that he is. And, but at the same time, I think fans can be excited about the fact that is who Hayden Papanicus is. He doesn't let anything rattle him. He can ride, he can ride a roller coaster pretty level-headed. He's not focused on the outside noise. He's focused on what he has to do internally to continue to get better. And I thought that was a great answer. It doesn't surprise me at all that he was able to remain calm, and I think that's what makes him special. I really do.
I like how he smiled when he was giving him the gears there, and I mean, vicious. Maybe that wasn't the word that he necessarily wanted to, but you're under the gun and you're asked that silly question about what kind of a animal you are, which the Canadians ask every prospect, right? But I think like you say, he handled it very well, and I'd be curious to know which player that they muted. They were talking about that he'd win 10 out of 10 battles with. I wonder. Obviously, it was another WHLer that was in the draft. I wonder if it was McQueen, but anyway, that was.
I'm not sure.
No.
Speculate.
Yeah. But that shows that he's got some. He's got some confidence too, right? And that's not a bad thing for a young player.
Yeah. No, absolutely. He believes in himself, and that's really the first step in all of this. And then, is he coachable? Is he willing to put the work in? And, he's got to, we talked about this at the end of last year, he's got to continue to get more consistent in those areas. But I have no concerns over him coming back here this year and what type of person and what type of player we're going to have inside our locker room.
What do you, getting out your crystal ball here, what do you see him as in the NHL? A center or a winger?
I think, as he progresses through this season, even, I think people are going to see him more as a centerman. I think he skates well. He's got a really good understanding of space. He has that really good stick. He wins puck battles. He can play, deep in both ends and cover a lot of ground in a short period of time and get up the ice. And he's at 17 years old, he's a pretty good face-off guy last year, and he's going to get more opportunity to showcase that this year against other teams' top six. But, last year he was doing that against the other team's top line on a nightly basis with where we were at and what we were trying to accomplish. So, I see him as a center. Do I think it's unheralded to imagine him on the wing? Not at all. I think he's a player that, I think he's a top 9. I don't know if he's a top 6 guy. He'll determine that over the course of the next, 3, 4, 5 years. But I think that he's on the right progression to be a player at that level.
Yeah, I agree. Like when I scouted him last year at the start of the year, I said, okay, this guy's a second rounder and middle line upside. And then there was some inconsistency there, it's fair to say, but it's tough when you're on a losing team too, right? To bring it every night.
Yeah.
And he'll be on a better team, better line mates, presumably. Well, like improved line mates at the very least. And hopefully we'll see a jump in his production and consistency this year along with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Good. And what now when NHL scouts were asking you about him, were there many teams asking you about Papanicus? Were you surprised that he didn't go in the second round?
I'm not. Just, I think when you're talking about playing at that level, I think, what hurt Hayden the most was our season was done on March 24th. And
Right.
if you see those guys, a lot of those guys were playing games in April and May. And I think once you're out of sight, you're out of mind. And that happens. At the same time, what people will be impressed about with Hayden is I don't think that Hayden cares about what the number is he's drafted. He wants to be in an organization that wants him and an organization that cares. And that's what was important for him. I don't think it was the round. I don't think it was the number. When I talked to him about it being Montreal, he was ecstatic and his family was ecstatic, and you could sense the pride he already had in their logo. And that's the type of thing that he does for us in Kelowna. He puts pride in our logo. He makes other people have pride in our logo. And I think, it's going to be the tale of two seasons. Last season was 1 year. This year's a brand new season for him as well. And while it's probably not the start that he wanted, it's going to be the body of work this year. We have really high hopes for him and a strong belief in him because of everything that he's done for us since the day he walked through our front door.
Excellent. Great answer, Derrick. And I wish you all the best this year. Good luck in the Memorial Cup as well. I think that can only be a good thing for your young players as well, including Hayden, to get to play in such an elite competition at the end of the year. I think it will only help all your young players' development.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's going to be a long season, and we're really excited to, like I said, get it going tomorrow night at home against Spokane. So appreciate you having us on, and looking forward to keeping in touch.
Okay. Thank you very much, Derrick.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Well, folks, that's a great interview. Hayden Papanicus is he's probably going to only miss 3 games. That's good news for Habs because mono sometimes can keep a young player out of the lineup for upwards of a month or more. So good thing that they aren't playing many games at the start of the year, and good thing that he's probably only going to miss 3 games.